Hello everybody, I'm Finn from FinnBrick42, and right here in front of me is a MOC that I built of a mix of an apartment on the top two floors and two different stores on the bottom floor. This is a MOC that I built a while ago, and I've been waiting to show it to you guys. I'm pretty happy with the amount of detail that's in it, and I think that there are some pretty interesting building features and techniques. So before I show you, I'll start with the bottom floor, but before I show you the inside of that, I'll just quickly rotate it around so you can see. So as you can see, the sides don't have any windows on them or anything because I built it so that way it could connect with the other modular buildings in the Creator Expert line of LEGO sets. And I built it so that these would actually match up with all the pegs that they have there so they connect properly. At the back there are windows because there wouldn't be a connection there. And there is a dumpster at the back, which I'll show you in further detail later. But yeah, there are quite a few windows which let in a lot of light. And once again on this side there's more spaces at the bottom there to connect to other modular buildings. So this is actually built on a 16 by 32 base plate, so that allows it so it will connect with all sorts of other ones. So it's actually about half the size of the average, about half the size of the average modular building. So now I'll get to showing you the bottom floor, which has the two different stores, starting with the coffee shop. From the ground floor you can see that the coffee shop is on the right, and it has its own kind of signage right here, and it's indicating that it's an eco-friendly coffee place with renewably sourced coffee beans. So that's nice. Inside the front door we can see that it's actually quite small inside, and I've got a flashlight here so I can shine a bit of light in from overhead. And you can see there that it's actually kind of compact, but it does have all the features of a coffee shop. So, I'll now show you inside with just getting closer here. So you can see it's got walls on the side there, and I'll focus on them. And inside there's a coffee machine with a coffee maker. At the back there's a sink. And on the side there's a tablet for checkouts, as there's not enough space for a full computer. And that right there is just the door for processing, well, just to let only the employees through to the back area. So now I'll give you an overhead view. On the far left side of the screen is the door, which allows people to enter the building. And right here, on the right side of the screen, is actually the top part of a set of stairs, which is right there. And I'll show you how that goes and where it goes in just a moment. So I'll remove this top part, because actually it is fairly easy to remove. Just leaves a bit of space there so you can see inside. So at the back you can see that right here there is a sink and a few coffee mugs to put some coffee in. Now this is kind of hard to see from this angle, but the coffee machine is actually removable. So this is a coffee maker. And I just have it really so it's pretty simple, but there's a coffee kind of grinder at the top, and it puts coffee beans into here, which is really just best version I could think of making of the coffee pot. So yeah, really you make one pot at a time, but for the size I think it's a pretty good job. So yeah, I'm quite happy with this. And then just here to show you, there's the floor, it's tiled with beige and white. And at the back there's a bit of a shelf right in there, and beside that is the tablet for processing the orders and purchases. So now I'll show you the next store. A ground level view of this store shows that it has tiling throughout, and also that it has a shelf or a rack of mugs right there, and a box of them over there. Now this has actually, it has a nice little feature in there where there's extra storage, but just to show you from here, you can see that this one does have a computer, which is located here, and I'll show you the desk from the other side in just a moment. And it actually has quite a bit of space to move around and look at the different coffee mugs available for your LEGO city. And at the back is the entrance, with those stairs that go up to the next level. So I'll show you how that attaches after this one's done. First I'll give you an overhead view of the store. So here's an overhead view of the store, and you can see that right over here is the cash register and computer for processing purchases. Right now it looks like they're watching the news as there's no one in the store right now. And over here is just a free movable kind of shelf of different coffee mugs. But if I rotate around so you can have a different angle, just past the coffee shop, you can see that over there is the rack of fancy mugs. That's very interesting. Underneath the stairs is a different compartment that has some boxes in it. Now this is a little tricky to get to because it really is designed for the minifigures, but underneath are a bunch of those Lego boxes. And it's a little hard to see, and maybe I can get it with a bit of a flashlight here, but yeah, but you can see there's just a gap under there, and those boxes kind of represent more boxes of coffee mugs that are still waiting to be unpacked and placed on the shelves. So now we see that there's a stair set that goes up there, staircase that goes right up to the next floor, and I will now show you that with the second floor. So the second floor staircase leads up right over here. You have this railing along for safety, and it just leads up to this landing right here. And it actually has a nice window in the back that allows light into the stairwell. From ground floor, or at least the ground floor of the balcony and the room itself, you can see that this building has a nice opening door that goes onto the balcony, which has dark red as its floor color. There is a small window over here letting a bit of light into the washroom, and I'll show you how that works in just a moment with the washroom and everything. But yeah, that's about it for the outside of this part. Of course, there are the windows for the stairwell and the kitchen at the back, and I'll just show you how there are a few different features in here with an overhead view. Once you go up the stairs, there's a bit of a landing, and beside it is a cupboard. Now in this cupboard you could store really whatever you want. You could have a bit of food and baking ingredients or things like that. And over here is a carpet made with dark blue tiles. And around the side is the kitchen. And I'll show you from this angle here. So the kitchen is actually quite small, but it has really what you need, especially if you include the pantry cupboard. So in the kitchen there is an oven and a sink, as well as a bit of countertop space and a stovetop. On the side here there's a flower just out with a bit of light, just to kind of nicen up the place. And over here is the doorway to the washroom. So now I'll just show you how this works. So if you open this part right here, it takes a bit of effort because this is a bit of a small space to work with. But if I open the door and push up on the bottom here, it's not held on with too many studs, but you can see that there's a washroom in there. So on the far side, right down there, is the toilet, and across from it is a very small sink, and I'll try and get a good view of that, but it might be a bit hard. Just in the corner there's a sink, and underneath there's actually even a little cupboard. There are no opening doors, of course, but it is kind of nice to have a sink in there. So yeah, at the top of these, kind of incorporated into the bottom of the stairs, I have placed a shower head. So you have a shower and a toilet and everything. So really makes most of the compact space that's provided. So yeah, I think it's a pretty interesting way to use some space there, and it's fun to build. I kind of changed up the color as it went alongside, that way the room has a bit more color. I think that actually works pretty well with the staircase there. So next up, this staircase goes all the way up to the next level, and once again there's a bit of a landing here. So now I'll show you the next level. The next level has the bedroom and study area, and just right here you can see how the stairs from the last level come up to the next one to meet the wood floor here and the carpet here. So yeah, I think it's a pretty interesting transition. And this room actually has, well, this has two rooms inside of the top floor, bedroom and the study area, both with different colors. And I think that makes it kind of nice. The dark red and warm kind of color for the study area, and this light blue over here for the bedroom, which I'll show you in just a moment. So now I'll show you this floor in detail. An external view of this floor shows that there are two big and equally spaced wooden windows, which allow lots of light into the study room and a bit of light into the bedroom. Rotating around, you can see that the color scheme actually changes from the dark red brick to the light blue brick. And I think it's quite an interesting change, and I'm pretty happy with how it ends up turning out. around the back, there's one window in the bedroom, and I'll show you what that looks like from inside in just a moment. So now I'll show you an above level view of the floor. Once you've ascended the stairs, you arrive at a slightly cluttered landing, and where there is a bookshelf. Well, actually, there are two bookshelves. This one right over here has some fancy old books, and this one right here has a couple of possibly textbooks or something like that. So yeah, that's actually quite interesting to use for the study area, which is right here. So it gives you, in this area, just rotate it around so you can see it a little better, a nice desk with a chair, and at the back here is an old lamp on a drawer, and right beside it's the window. So I think that this is actually a pretty nice setup for studying, and you have nature outside, you can just see outside and things like that, and it's kind of a comfy looking area, especially with the color combination. I think it works quite well. Now over here is a brighter color of red, which is the door to go into the bedroom. So inside you can see that the floor changes color, and I'll just show you in there now. So at the back there's a bed. There's not too much space in here as I'm working with limited space, but there's a clock on the wall, which is quite nice to integrate that. And at the back there is another drawer which has a newer looking lamp on it. So yeah, pretty happy with the design of these drawers, and I feel that they fit really well in with the whole kind of aesthetic of the building. So yeah, I think these are some pretty fun rooms to build, and I'm pretty happy with how they end up turning out looking. So yeah, that's about it. Now I'll show you the roof. The roof was actually quite interesting to build, as I incorporated some storage, and I also had the floor showing some signs of wear from the elements. The way you can access the roof is actually through this ladder, which goes all the way down to the balcony on the earlier floor. There is a chimney at the top, which unfortunately doesn't connect to anything at the moment, as due to a lack of space, but you could use your imagination and think that originally there was something there before it was redesigned, and they decided to keep the chimney. But anyway, the storage over here is actually kind of locked up with this chain, or seems to be locked up, and you have two bicycles on the roof, as well as some extra chairs for if guests visit and they want to have a nice big meal. So really, these actually are quite well sealed as it is, but if you open them up, you see that there are some chairs built into the space of this triangular shaped part of the roof. And I think this is just kind of an interesting way to add a bit of storage to the build, because I haven't really seen this really used in LEGO before. I've seen it in real life, so I was inspired by that. But yeah, I feel like it's a pretty good use of space, although it is kind of hard to get the chairs in and out with big fig hands as it is. But yeah, minifigures would have no problem with that. Now, I'm not exactly sure how they'd go about lowering the bicycles off the roof. Maybe they'd use the chains or something, but you know, it's all up to the imagination. So yeah, I think that's quite fun, and I'll show you just how it connects to the lower floor right now. So as you can see at the top there is the kind of landing for the ladder, and you can just climb down the ladder all the way down past that floor to this floor, and I'll just readjust the focus on this camera here. And yeah, it works pretty well, and it solved the problem of getting onto the roof, which I had, because I didn't want to take up any more space on the upper floor. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with how this turned out, and I think it just kind of works well with the overall design, the old look of the windows and everything, and just having a kind of fire escape / ladder going up to the top. I think it works quite well. So now I'll show you a couple extra details around the outside, and that'll be pretty much it for the video. The last part of the build that I wanted to mention is this little green space out back. There is a tiny little tree that's growing up right here, and here is kind of a large dumpster that will be shared by both the stores, maybe a couple other stores nearby as well. And inside there are just a few different things that will hopefully come out quickly, but yeah, they're in there. Kind of blocked by the hat. But it was kind of an interesting design for the garbage, or the dumpster, I thought. You can see there are just some things in there, just kind of held on, and the way I place it is you don't close it all the way. That way it just seems to have that kind of opened look to it. beside it is really just a broom to sweep up anything that spills. So that's nice, and yeah, that's about it for the build. I'll just show you the front, and yeah, that's about it. Alright, so here's the last look at the front of the building. I hope that you enjoyed the video. It was very fun to make, and actually, yeah, I'm glad I finally got this one done of this building. And it's good to get videos done, it feels good. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed it, and maybe you learned something from the video too. So yeah, have a great day. Thanks.